Hello friends, today we are going to talk about the programs of microprocessor 8085. We will start with the programs in which we are trying to understand how to connect to a memory, how to take it. So with respect to the normal operations, the regular operations of the microprocessor, we will try to understand. Okay, the first program that we're going to start with is to store some data in some of the registers. So what is the program is? Write a program to store ABCD with 09. These ABCDs are registers. So when we come across something like that, like to store something into the registers, now we have to think of, is there an instruction which takes the data 09 into accumulator, into B register, into C and D register. So we have to start thinking about which instruction best suits in this position. So for that, the first instruction is like we want to store data 09 into accumulator. So it is a transfer instruction. So one of the instruction which takes immediate data into accumulator is MVI A09H. So now the data is already there into the accumulator. So the same data you can move it to B register, C register and D register. So now we have to, when we know that some data is already there into the accumulator, next process of thinking is there an instruction which takes the data from accumulator to B? Yes. So that instruction is what? What is that instruction? Is MOV accumulator to B register, move BA. So next step would be the data is already there in accumulator as well as B. So what you can do is you can choose between storing the data from B to C register or from A to C register, whichever is okay. Whichever is suitable, you can use it. So move CA and move DA and then halt. So this program is to understand how to take the data, which is an immediate data, into accumulator, and then from there you shift it to many registers. Okay. Okay, now the next data is now how to point to the memory location and store immediate data in that location as well as in some other location. So what is the instruction? Write a program to store 01 in memory location 3000H and 08 in 3000. See, there are two memory locations, 3000 and 3001. Both are taking different datas. So first thing is what we need to point to 3000. So when I say point to 3000, is there an instruction which takes this 3000 and take it as an address? And when we want to point it as, then we can refer it as memory. So for that, what you have is LXIH 3000. What is the meaning of LXIH 3000? You are storing 3000 into HL pair, so that HL pair content becomes the address. So at that address, some data you are going to store. So now next thing is, we have to think, is there an instruction which takes this 01, which is an immediate data, into memory? Yes, that would be your next instruction, that is MVI M01H. Now we are already on memory location 3000. There is a program which says that you want to store 08 in 3001. Now I have to go from 3000 to 3000. How do you go? By just incrementing the address by INX H. Now what is this point? This point gives us that you are pointing to memory location 3001. Now whatever is the data, which is the data? It is 08. So that data you have to put it in the memory. So MVI M08H. And it is asked only this much, to store 01 in 3000 and 08 in 3001. So we are going to end with the program. Okay, so this is how you're going to start understanding the program. Okay. Okay, the next program is the program to load accumulator with data at 2000. See here, there is some data at 2000. We don't know what the data is and we are not bothering about what the data is. Whatever is the data at memory location 2000, we want to move it to accumulator and be registered with the same data. Means what? The data in 2000 has to be moved to accumulator as well as B register. So first thing that we need to understand is we have to point to this memory location. So the memory location is 2000, and you are directly shifting the data to accumulator. So see, this is there is another way that you point to memory location by using LXIH to 2000 and then move the contents of accumulator to memory. That is also possible. But we do have an instruction where you can store the data at memory location 2000 directly to accumulator. So that instruction is LDA 2000. And the data in accumulator is what now? Whatever is that there at 2000. The same data you are moving to B register. So that is move BA and then end of the program. So any program that you would like to end, you can either end by HLT or you can end by RST. So it is okay. Both are okay. RST 0, RST 1 is okay. Or you can just write the end as halt instruction. Okay. So the next program that we are going to understand is program to add the contents of register B and C. Now when we are doing the program to add the contents of B and C, it is understood that some data is there in B register as well as C register. So if we want to add B and C, there is no instruction in which you can directly add B and C. What is the reason? Because whenever you are going for addition, one of the data has to be there in accumulator. So for that, we will take either B content to accumulator or C content to accumulator. I have taken B content to accumulator. Now the one of the data is there in accumulator. I have an instruction called add C, which adds the content of C to accumulator. So next instruction would be add C. That's it. They have not asked anything. Please store the result in somewhere. So this is what is the question. Okay. So the next one is what? The end of the program. Yes, this is what is you are trying to understand how to add. Whenever add comes, the first thing that you have to think is, okay, now the data, one of the data has to be there in accumulator, then only I can go for addition. So these are the thinking process or the thought processes that should go in so that you put it in a proper logical manner. Okay, the next is write a program to add the contents of memory location 3000 and 3001 and store the result in 3002. So it is given that the data is there in 3000 and 3001 and we are going to add them. So first is the data is there in memory. So that data has to be taken to accumulator and you have to point to the next memory location and then add the contents of accumulator to memory. Once the addition is done, that result is there in accumulator and that result you have to store it in 3002. Okay. So first is pointing to memory location 3000. Whatever is there in memory, shift it to accumulator. Whatever is there in accumulator, you need to add it to the next memory location. So for that reason, you have to go to the next memory location. So the instruction is increment HL pair and then add memory. That's it. Now after addition, where is the result? The result is there in accumulator. That result you need to store it to 3002. So how do you put it into 3002? It is a continuous memory location 3000, 3001, 3000. So you have to go for incrementing HL pair and then move the contents of accumulator to memory and then end the program. Okay, so this is how you go for addition of two numbers which you are storing in the next consecutive memory location. The next one was stored in memory location, but storing the result in some other location which is not in continuation. So what is the next first step is again the same thing that we are going to put the data in memory location C1000, take the data to accumulator, go to the next memory location, add the contents of accumulator to memory. Once you add the contents of accumulator to memory, in the last program, we had written the result in the next memory location itself. So what we did just implementation of HL pair and moved the data from accumulator to memory. But over here, the result we need in some other location, and whenever you want to store the data from accumulator to some other memory location, you have an instruction called store accumulator to memory location. So what is that instruction? It is STAD1000. So after this, it is nothing, isn't it? It is just a end of the program. So we are going to either write halt or RST1. Okay, so this is how you are writing the program for addition of two numbers. With these programs, I'm going to end this video, and in the next video, we're going to talk about subtractions. Okay, thank you.